We're here today with Will Farnell from farnellclarke.co.uk. How are you, Will?
I'm very good, thanks, Julie.
Jolly good. And we're here today to talk about your company culture and what's happening at Farnell Clarke. There's a relaunch or something going on, isn't there? Tell us about that and tell us about what Farnell Clarke is.
Okay, so Farnell Clarke, we're a firm of accountants. We're 10 years old this year, and we've had the fortune of growing really quickly over those last 10 years. So 2007, I had a little room in the back of my office, back of my garage at home. We're now 33 staff in our main office in Norwich. So we were really fortunate in that we cottoned on to the whole accounting technology thing about 9 years ago. So we were one of the first firms in the country to fully adopt cloud accounting.
Yes.
And that's kind of been a big part of our growth, in that we were doing things that most accountants just said, oh, it's a fad, it's going to go away, and nobody's ever going to do that. But we had huge belief in it, and we're now able to look back and say, hey, you know what, we were right.
Yeah.
So 10 years old, but one of the challenges we had last year is that for the first time in our history, we started to see staff turnover. So we were really keen to identify why that was and what we could do to kind of stop it happening and make sure that as a business we could still recruit the best accountants out there. So we did a big office refit at the end of last year, and tomorrow is our launch of our new office, including our in-house pub.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tell us about the pub.
So we wanted something that kind of gave a bit of our character within the office. So we've got some themed meeting rooms, and the highlight of those themed meeting rooms is our themed pub meeting room. We ran a Facebook competition to name it, and the pub is now the Tax and Pounds.
That's brilliant name.
Complete with pool table come meeting room and beer on tap. So Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock is pub opening.
Wow. And did you find it hard to choose a name for it? Were many people suggesting great names?
We thought we'd get kind of half a dozen, and we were really blown away by the number of people that got engaged in the competition. But there were kind of two or three that we really liked, and we just thought the Tax and Pounds was kind of really clever. Obviously playing on the Fox and Hounds,
Yeah.
and it's kind of relevant to us as a business. The imagery, the branding that's gone on the pub is great. So we're really excited about launching it tomorrow.
And was that a whole gathering of people come together to choose that name, or did just a few people say, right, that's the name we're going to go with?
It was kind of me and my co-directors, really. We were ultimately the judges because we wanted to control what it ended up being.
You had the judge hat on.
We did, but yeah, we all kind of agreed that kind of just worked.
Yeah, everyone's happy with it. Yeah, it's a really good name. Now, you say about cloud accounting, so just to give us an insight into that, what is cloud accounting?
So it's basically using the benefit of modern technology to effectively, it enables us to work with our clients 24/7. So back in 2008, we started working with a company called Cashflow, who were one of the first kind of real cloud accounting software offerings in the UK market. Mm-hmm. And it just meant that I mean, I looked at it and said, why on earth would we not want access to our clients' data kind of all year round rather than end of year? And the technology lets us do it. So it's like your good old Sage from the old days, but on the cloud, accessible anywhere. We now work with Xero, who are the market leaders in the UK. We're one of their largest partner firms.
Is that the company that's spelt with an X?
With an X, yeah. Here on radio, XERO.
That's it.
So yeah, we're one of their largest partner firms now, it just means that we can work really differently. So it means our staff can work anywhere, we can work anywhere, our clients can work anywhere. So
the people that you employ, are they really forward thinking? Do they tend to think differently to your standard accountants?
I think that we have to. It's still really new, so that this approach is still. If you take your market development models and everything else, we're still early adopters. The market is still in its infancy, so the challenge that we have when we recruit is that we don't find too many people that are working in the way that we work. So we have to kind of bring in keen, ambitious people that we can kind of work with and get them to understand the way that we work and the way we want to work with our clients.
Do you provide a lot of training for them then?
Yeah, so we tend to take on more trainees than kind of experienced people. So we bring them in from uni or A-level leavers and kind of work with them. We put them through professional training, but also we get them to kind of understand our way of working. We're very kind of hooked on the whole millennial generation stuff, and we recognise the importance of them as our staff, but more importantly as our clients as well.
Yes.
So our target clients are millennial entrepreneurs. So we need an environment that they're going to look at and say, that's the kind of firm that we want to work with, because they get what we're about and how we want to work.
So is it a real young working environment there? Or do you have a little bit of a mix of the Generation X or maybe some baby boomers?
We have a little bit of baby boomers. We have a little bit of Generation X, but I'd say 70% of our workforce is millennial.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned earlier that the office that you're in at the moment is in Norwich, but you have another office. So where is the other office?
So our second base now is now in London.
Right.
So
okay.
So we did have an office about 30 miles down the road in Lowestoft, but we're beginning to focus our efforts in London. Mm-hmm. So we have a base just by Liverpool Street, which is really convenient for us.
Very convenient, yes.
Because again, we're in one of the WeWork bases in London, so it's great. It's full of our target clients. Mm-hmm. So that works really well for us to support our London client base.
Lovely. And then can you describe what the culture is like at your company? And did you intentionally go out to create that culture?
So going back to kind of when we took on our first members of staff back in 2009, I think we took on our first employee. From day one, we needed people that were happy and comfortable in the mould that we'd created for ourselves. We're professional accountants, but looking around this office, there's nobody wearing a shirt and tie. So we're people come in with different expectations. Mm-hmm. So our culture has always been fairly laid back. It's been very autonomous. So we empower our staff to do perhaps more than they'd get to do in more traditional firms. Mm-hmm. Clearly that works for some people, but some people like to have a bit more structure and control and clarity over what's expected from them. We've always been pretty laid back. And it's got harder for us to do that as we've got bigger, and that's been the big challenge. So how do we make sure that we have those systems and processes and structures in place, even around things like competency frameworks and performance measurement, that we never really took that importantly, because we were kind of fluid. But you get to a stage where you can't do that anymore. So the big challenge for us has been, how do we put that structure in place without losing the things that make it a great place to work?
Yeah. And still have that freedom and that flow going on.
Yeah. So that's been a big part of what we've tried to do with the office refit. We're still really to make sure we have flexible working in terms of when and where people work, but also how they work when they're in the office. So loads of our staff are now working on MacBooks, and we've got breakout areas and chill out areas and everything else, so they can go and sit with a laptop and work where they want to. And again, it's reflecting what we believe the millennial generation are interested in, and how they want to run their work careers.
Yeah, and do you think that other accountancy firms will look at you as a leader in what is happening now with regards to company culture and accountancy and start following?
I think we've seen that anyway on a mass scale in that we were kind of innovators in terms of adoption of the technology that now is becoming more common. The government is rolling out making tax digital, which means that everybody's got to use technology to manage and report to HMRC. So there's going to be a drive of other firms doing it, but because they have to do it rather than because they choose to do it or in response to what their clients want. So certainly in terms of that core thing about utilising technology in accounting, we've seen with mass take up of that, and to make that work you have to change the underlying business model. In terms of everything we do is fixed fee, it's packaged services, and firms are having to do that, and even our big kind of regional competitors are launching new offerings around cloud products and fixed fees and packaged services. So yeah, we've seen that happen, and again, part of us wanting to stay ahead is, well, what do we do next? To make sure that we stay ahead of everybody else. And our focus now is absolutely about our people, because if we have happy people, we're going to have happy clients.
Absolutely. So when somebody comes in to have an interview with you, are they taken aback by how different it is at your place to most accountancy companies?
I'm sure they are, and we always kind of prepare people for what they're coming into.
Yes.
We're beginning to see more people come because they know what we're doing, and again, that's exactly what we wanted, because we struggled to recruit, because whilst we told people that we're really informal and we don't wear shirt and tie and everything else, people have to see that the minute they walk in and actually feel it. And we felt that wasn't evident when people walked in our office before we did the refit, whereas now you can't help but know you're walking into something different.
Of course. And are you at the moment, I know you've got your launch tomorrow, but are you using the media available, social media, to get that message across? Have you done videos of the workplace, or will that all start tomorrow?
That kind of all starts tomorrow, really. So today and tomorrow is Media Central. So we've had Archant in today, and we're talking to Job Hop, which is really important, of course.
Of course.
And I think we've got Mustard TV coming tomorrow as well.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing. That's brilliant.
That's great.
So you're going to be a TV star.
We are. They were very excited about a pub in our office.
Yeah, that is different. I think that should make national news.
I think so too.
Definitely. That is just so unique. So going forward then, when we talk about being the preferred employer, what do you think will make you, Farnell Clarke, the preferred employer?
I think it's so we obviously recruit accountants. That's the bread and butter of who we have in our building. So the benefit that we're going to have is that when it comes to choice around working within, particularly in accountancy practice, you can go and be an accountant for Google, and I think we'd struggle to kind of compete with Google as an employer. But taking those kind of people out of the equation, if you're looking at working in an accountancy practice, then clearly we have things that very few people are going to have. In terms of the physical work environment, but we don't rest on our laurels, and we know we've got lots more to do. We did a survey at the back end of last year talking about what our staff thought about 6-hour working days.
All right.
And whether they thought that they would still be able to get all their work done in 6 hours, what time of the day they'd like to work.
Yes.
Because again, if we think about the stereotypical millennial generation, then there may be a view that they want to stay in bed until 10:30 and work 11 till 11 at night.
Of course.
So if that's the case, then how do we support those clients within those work hours? So if we've got millennials that want to come in at lunchtime and work till 10:30 at night, then hey, why not?
Yeah.
So we haven't done that yet because I think it's really important that we can measure output. So we're doing lots of stuff around system development to make sure that we can manage that output to give us the ability to be really flexible over how our staff work and when they work and where they work.
Good. So you're obviously on the forefront of everything. Have you borrowed some ideas? Have you looked at other companies and maybe particular companies you can talk about and said, well, that's obviously working there. We would like to introduce that idea to our organisation?
I think that we've sorry, my room's just gone really dark. I have to kind of move about and turn lights on. Do you want me to get some lights back on? Or,
Well, you have gone
can you
rather
see me?
dark,
Let
Will.
me just do that.
That's funny. Just wave. There you go.
There we go. We have light again. So we've probably got about another 15 minutes before the lights go out again.
So you're obviously very environmentally friendly there as well.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good ethical company to work for.
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, Julie. Well, remind me of the question. Borrowing ideas, wasn't it? So, yeah. So we've kind of been at the forefront of innovation, and we really like that people look at what we do and borrow what we do. But clearly we can't take credit for all of it. So we kind of look at what other firms are doing, but we have to look outside of accountancy. So I mentioned Google, Netflix, the kind of stuff that those guys are doing. We work very closely with Xero, of course, who are a fintech startup. So they have a particular culture. And certainly we stole a few of the ideas from their offices when we did our refit. But I think it's about looking at what's best practice and being prepared to take risks. I mean, we've always taken lots of risk around technology, but we've never really stopped and said, well, let's take some risks around our people, and that's kind of where we are now. Yeah. So let's take some gambles and let's try some things that might lead to 10-15% productivity improvements.
Yeah, you'll definitely be talked about, and that's always great PR, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So with regards to using your company culture and everything that's going on there, so the relaunch tomorrow, to get people talking about your organisation and being that company that people will want to work for, will you still use traditional methods of recruiting, or are you going to look for completely different ways to attract the right candidate there?
I think we hope that with what we're doing within the work environment and using social media to kind of get the message out that, hey, look, we're here and we're really different, that we might actually begin to get more speculative applications. We've grown as a business about 40% year on year every year, so that means that if we grow another 40% this year, then we're going to be taking on more staff. We're kind of constantly recruiting because if we get the right CV, we're not going to risk losing somebody, and we know we're going to grow into the resource. So yeah, we would love to not have to use traditional recruitment agencies. Hopefully too many that we deal with aren't going to watch this video and get very upset by that.
But it'd just be good to just naturally attract the great candidates, so you don't have to be constantly job pushing or hoping, the stuff you're putting out there is going to reach somebody. It's just that you're going to literally pull them in and open the door for them. Here we go. So those candidates will be talking about you and want to work for you.
Yep, and we incentivise our staff as well to refer people.
Yes, I was about to say that.
Employees.
If they absolutely love working there, they're going to give out positive messages, and that's all going to help, isn't it, to attract the candidates? And if there are going to be incentives for them to look for the great people that's going to fit into your organisation, that's all going to help, isn't it? So eventually you could eliminate those traditional recruiting methods.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Super. I'm just having a look at your website, and I love the fact that the whole team are there and they're all in jeans.
We've got a few gaps there at the moment though, so we've taken on lots of new staff, so we need some new photos. But
Oh yes, I saw
yeah,
that. Yes, yes.
yeah,
So that's nice
yeah.
that you're showcasing your employees. Are they happy to be out there on social media and on your website?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's people, those the people that work for us understand what we're about as a business, and the fact that our focus is on our clients. We want them to engage with clients. So for us, personality is more important than technical ability.
Yeah.
So we can teach people how to be good technical accountants, but teaching somebody personality is a little more tricky. So we want outgoing, energetic people that are not afraid to get in front of a client and have a chat with them.
And would you say that you have got, like, because they're mainly a younger bunch, you have that social flow so that they're quite happy if something, I don't know, it's Red Nose Day on Friday. Will they all be turning up with red noses, let's say, and then Instagramming that?
I don't think we've quite explored that depth yet. I think if we asked them to, there'd be a bunch that would.
Yes.
It's our culture is evolving.
Yes.
And really what we're trying to do is stamp it around the walls now and all of those kind of things. So people really get to understand what it is. The challenge is, I mean, in the last 2 years, we've gone from 19 staff to 33. So it takes a while for people to kind of get to understand. And sometimes we're not as good as we should be about making people understand what the values are that underpin our culture.
Yes.
So that's something we need to do better.
Yeah.
But some of it's going to be done just by people walking in and getting a feel for what our culture is about.
I'm sure you'll have loads of pictures tomorrow going over Instagram and Twitter
yes.
and Facebook. So that's all great PR. And talking about your walls, I need to ask you, what is that picture behind you on your wall?
Living in Norwich, you'll recognise the
that's
scene,
fantastic. Wow, that is lovely. It's just like the view of Norwich in your office.
Indeed. So we're currently in what we call the quayside room.
That's good.
So we've got the quayside here. That side we've got the beach hut, and behind us we've got the library, and upstairs we have the tax and pounds.
So every room has different pictures of Norwich, or just completely different.
Different. So the library's got a very library type picture. The beach
not a library, not the forum. It's just a library.
It's just loads of books on the wall and things. And then next door in the beach hut, we've got a nice beach view and a sign to the beach and everything.
And do you think that uplifts people's energy in the office?
Yeah, it's just about having some colour and some vibrancy, and we've used our kind of branding colours all around the building. So we've got lots of purples and lime greens and everything else. So it's bright.
So people, when they come into work in the mornings, they feel energised and they want to come into work. So would you say that most people that are in your organisation love what they do, and they're happy being there doing it?
We certainly hope so.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's lovely. And then also just asking, because you have got a young workforce, do they require a lot of feedback from yourselves?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that when we look back to the challenges of last year, when we did see staff turnover, I think a lot of that was me predominantly having a view that everybody should understand that there were great opportunities here because we were growing quickly, but actually sometimes you need to kind of be a bit more vocal about that and make it a bit more black and white so that people understand specifically for them where the opportunities are and what we're striving to do as a business. So that's all lessons we're learning. I don't suggest for 1 second that we do it right all the time. We learn from the things that don't go as we hope, and that's part of being an innovator. So
yes,
sometimes you get it right, other times you get it wrong, and it's just being aware of how to deal with it when you get it wrong.
And how do you go about engaging your employees?
4:00 on a Friday in the pub.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what? That was my next one. I was about to say, have you got an after hours culture? Do you have that there? So I know some solicitors and some accountancy firms that I've dealt with in the past, they do like the pub.
Yeah, so we don't need to go out to the pub
No.
now. We brought the pub to us. Yeah, I mean it's work hard and we want to play hard.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got firms around us with slides and various other things, and we thought, well, we can't do a slide, so what do? Let's do a pub.
That's fantastic. And what do your clients think about one, your pub, and two, such a young workforce, and that everyone wears jeans to work?
Yeah, I think so. It goes back to kind of day one, really. I made the decision 10 years ago that I'd done with wearing suits and shirts and ties, and it didn't make me any better at my job. And if we saw a client that wanted somebody to wear a shirt and tie, then they'd got lots to choose from. But it wasn't us. So that's who we are. We work with a lot of creative and tech sector clients. They don't wear shirt and tie either. So actually people buy from people like themselves.
Yeah.
And that's really important as well for the whole millennial generation stuff as well. So if our target client is a millennial entrepreneur, then they might want to deal with a firm that understands the millennial generation. So we have plenty of them here.
Absolutely.
I miss it just by a couple of years, of course.
Yeah, just 2 years.
2 years, that's what it is.
Do you find then that is now your client base mainly, and the tech industry or young startups?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. So again, we have a diverse client base, but the way that we do business will naturally attract to people of a particular age and particular work ethic and work style. So yeah, that's kind of work for us, and a big chunk of our client base is in that millennial creative tech startup type environment.
So then after tomorrow, after your relaunch, how do you see Farnell Clarke? How do you see it progressing?
So we're going to keep growing. We're doing a lot of refocusing. The refit is a big part of that now. We want to develop some very sector specific offerings and find really good people to lead on those. So we're going to start an offering for hospitality, for example.
Wow.
Where we can utilize our understanding of technology to build end-to-end software systems for our clients, as well as delivering great accountancy services and business support and all of the other things that they need. The role of an accountant is not what it was even 5 years ago. The profession is changing. Making tax digital means that people could do more themselves. So we need to position ourselves as far more than just accountants.
Yeah.
We need to be business advisors. We need to be supporting clients grow their businesses across a whole range of areas and not just numbers.
So you're just going to keep growing and growing. So you'll be looking for more people in the future.
Absolutely.
And just give us a quick recap on if anybody's interested in coming to work for you in the near future, how do they find out information about Farnell Clarke?
Website, so farnellclarke.co.uk, our Facebook page, so facebook.com/Farnell, or drop us an email. We'd love to chat. And say we're always looking for people looking for something different.
Brilliant. Okay, it was lovely speaking with you, Will. And I'm coming tomorrow, so I can't wait to see the pub.
We'll give you the tour.
Will there be real drink?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that an ongoing thing? Will there always be real drink in the pub?
Yep. We have a beer dispenser. So it's there. So whilst for staff it's 4:00 on a Friday, every now and again we'll have clients come in for software training, and we'll run some sessions in the evening, and perhaps crack open a couple of bottles or something.
Well, that is just like a brilliant place to work with its own pub. Amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Okay, thank you so much, Will. And as I said, I'll see you tomorrow. You
Look
take
forward to
care
it,
now.
Susan.
Thank
And
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.